Tony, lovely to see you. Based on last season, you must be rather excited ahead of the next one, really. A perfect platform, I would say, going into next season.
Yeah, well, it was a great season last season. We thoroughly enjoyed it, really deserved to finish top 10, and obviously our highest ever position, highest ever Premier League point. So great platform. Graham, the staff, and obviously the players did remarkably well. However the last season went, there's always expectation, there's always excitement. From all accounts, things are looking good. Players are looking very sharp, very fit, and yeah, we're only 4 weeks away to first game.
And of course you've got new players, you mentioned the squad there. How excited are you to see some of those players that have come to you but then come back, like Dennis Undav, Mauro Matona's here now, those sorts of players as well? How much are you looking forward to seeing them?
Well, those two in particular, they performed so brilliantly at Union last season. I watched a lot of Union games, so I think I know what to expect, albeit Belgium lead to the Premier League is a big step up, but very exciting players. Kozlowski went there as well. He didn't play as much, but a young player, high potential, a lot of excitement.
That situation with Union, how do you feel that's gone? Because obviously it's not unique, but you were one of the sort of first people to set up that kind of system and working with players at both clubs and then coming here. How do you feel that's worked for you and for them as well?
Well, Union is independently run, although I'm a major shareholder. Alex Musio is the president. He runs things. Obviously, we've got a very good relationship. We trust them, so we've loaned players out, and that's gone very well. And obviously, for the first time, we bought a player from Union. We bought Dennis in January. Allowed him to stay on loan there, which totally made sense given how well he was doing and how well Union were doing. And I think it's put him in great stead. And he's come back and he's very excited, to be here in the Premier League. So yeah, I think it's working very well.
I guess in terms of the squad, how happy are you with where you're at this moment in time? Obviously things can change and the window doesn't shut for a fair while, but how happy are you with the squad strength at the moment? Obviously you've lost Yves Bissouma this summer.
Yeah, Yves is a big loss. He's has been tremendous for us for a few years. We knew that he was very likely to go, so there's no surprise there, and we wish him all the very best at Tottenham. But we've got a very strong squad. We've got the new players have come in, so we're under no pressure, in terms of to purchase any players. It's the strongest squad we've ever had, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this season with hope and excitement.
I know it's difficult to say, but do you expect to do much business between now and the end of the transfer window?
I don't want to speculate on what we may or may not do. All I know is right now we've got a very, very strong squad of players, and I'm extremely happy with them. There's
been a lot of talk, and I know it's just reports and links with Marc Cucurella, who had such a standout season last season. Are there any kind of reassurances you give to the fans, or how confident you feel about him being a Brighton and Hove Albion player next season?
Well, all I can say about Marc is he's a tremendous player, a tremendous person. He's brilliant for the dressing room. The players love him. Graham and the coaches love him. I love him. The fans love him. He was unbelievably good last season, his first season in the Premier League. We're hoping for more to come, and we haven't had a bid for him.
In terms of the strength and the overall package, you sort of said you think it's one of the strongest. What do you think are the elements? Because you've got a fair few young players that are joining into the squad as well. I know some might go out on loan, but how happy are you with the balance of it, where you stand at the moment?
I think the balance is really good. Graham works very well with young players. Obviously, we need a whole balance. We've got some experienced players and some very experienced players. I think the balance is really good, and I think the young ones who are coming in, who will be in the squad, will absolutely push very hard to get into the team or get into the squad, and I think that's really important. So I think we don't know quite what the final squad will look like, but I would say at this stage, from my point of view, that it's looking very promising.
What about the situation with recruitment? Because obviously Dan Ashworth left the club, you appointed David Weir, with Gordon Greer as well. How happy with that transition? Well,
nothing changes. I mean, Dan left. He did a superb job. We're really happy with David, who's come in. And then Gordon stepped up to be the pathway development manager. David was in the role of assistant technical director for a while. And recruitment is just one of many, many facets that he deals with. We've got a brilliant recruitment team with Paul Winstanley and Kyle McCauley, and the system's working extremely well. They work very well together. They work very well with me and David and Graham. And so, yeah, nothing really changes in that respect, apart from a change in personnel at the sporting director level.
I've got to mention another Paul Barber, because he's past 10 years, I think. What about the impact that he has made on this football? Is it very difficult to, I suppose, assess the impact that he has had as an individual on this club?
Well, from a personal perspective, because I've seen him over the last 10 years, he's had a massive impact. He's hugely important to our football club, and a lot of the things he does perhaps doesn't get noticed, but without him at the very top leading in so many different ways, we wouldn't be as a club where we are. So huge testament to him. He's an unbelievably brilliant chief executive of Brighton and Hove Albion, and we're really fortunate to have him, and we work very, very well together. We work closely together. Myself and fellow directors are really, really pleased to have him with us.
How's Graham? Because we haven't seen him for a little bit. I know he'll be working hard on the training ground and the pre-seasons. How have those conversations gone over the last few weeks? I'm sure he got a well-earned rest.
Yeah, well, I deliberately didn't speak to him from the West Ham game for quite a few weeks. He had a very well-deserved holiday. He switched off as much as he can from football, which I think is really important. And I've been in touch with him last week. Everything's going very well. I'm going to be chatting to him later on this afternoon just about how the squad's looking, about potential recruitment. But it's all positive. He's got a smile on his face. He's looking ready for the new season, so all looking good there.
Sixth season. How do you see the makeup of the Premier League at the moment? Obviously, we had the issues with Super League, and there's always something that seems to be rumbling underneath the surface when it comes to the Premier League. But how do you see that now? Do you see that as the Premier League settled in terms of going into your sixth season?
Well, the Super League was a complete nonsense, and I never thought it had any chance of happening. I mean, obviously, when it did for 48 or 72 hours, there was some very slight concern. But from the very top of English government, from pretty much everyone apart from those clubs involved, the fans were so against it. UEFA obviously was so against it. So it made no sense to me whatsoever. So I'm quite glad that's done. And I don't see how it can ever come back. Certainly not for a very, very long time, if at all. So I think that's done, and I very much hope that the clubs involved accept that. I think they do, and so that's just done, and so we don't really need to consider that again. But the Premier League is by far and away the strongest football league in the world. It's getting stronger and stronger. It's more and more difficult to stay in it. The clubs which do get relegated will be stronger than other clubs in the past which have got relegated. And in Man City and Liverpool, you've got two of the best teams ever to play the game. So we know what league we're in, we know how difficult it is, but we are still very ambitious. We want to continue doing what we're doing, and we will see where we finish up. But we've got a very confident group of players, and they're working really hard for each other, and so I have hope and optimism.
Because when you see clubs like Manchester City, whether it's Haaland or wherever it may be, how does that make you feel? Do you just sort of put it to one side and say, that's not us, that's not the way we do things differently, we've got to do what we've got to do, because the challenge seems to get bigger and bigger, as it were, each season?
Yeah, we don't worry too much about what Man City do. I mean, obviously they are competitors, they're one of our 19 competitors, but we know realistically, we can't finish ahead of them this season. I think Haaland coming into the Premier League is really good news for the Premier League. He's one of the best players in the world. I'm really looking forward to seeing him. But yeah, I mean, Man City and Liverpool are on a different level to the rest of the Premier League, and obviously the teams just below them also extremely good. But we just focus on ourselves. We focus on, our opponent coming up. I mean, I say the royal we. It's obviously Graham and his staff, and he's extremely brilliant at doing that, and giving ourselves the best chance of the right result.
Aside from the Premier League, we just started in the Women's Euros, and of course Monday a game at the Community Stadium. How much pride do you take from that to be a venue of this competition?
Yeah, huge amounts of pride that they were hosting 3 games in the tournament, and we've come a very long way, and we really believe in the women's game. We've put a lot of resource into the women's game, and we've established ourselves in the Women's Super League. So having games at the Amex is great for the community, it's great for the city, and you know, a lot of what we do at Brighton and of Albion is for the wider community, and so I think it is a really big thing. It puts our name on a wider map. I mean, obviously being in the Premier League is huge, but this is a different audience, and so I'm very proud that we are hosting these 3 games, of which hopefully 2 of them will be England games.
And you put so much infrastructure in here to the women's game as well. Is that missing piece of the jigsaw to just bring them back to Brighton and Hove? I know we've talked in the past about that. I know it's quite complicated, but is that still something on your agenda?
We would love the women's team to be at Brighton and Hove, but there's certain stipulations with stadia, and it's really, really difficult. So we get some of the games at the Amex where we can, and we're very grateful to Crawley for hosting a lot of our games. For sure, long term, we would very much like the women's team to be in Brighton and Hove, or in the more immediate surrounding area. But there are challenges which are a lot outside of our control.
We talk about the fans a lot. They'll be very excited at the moment. One development has been the Fan Advisory Board. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that and how you think that will work and what you think that could do for the relationship, and not just here, but right across football in this country.
I think it makes sense to have them across the country at different clubs. I mean, every club is different and their relationship with their fans can be different. I think here at Brighton, we've got such a good relationship in so many ways, and we do a lot of fans forums at different times of the year. But this is a bit different, it's a bit more structured, and I think it could work really well. Again, if you ask me in a year's time, once they've been going, I'll be able to give you more feedback. But there's no reason it can't be a positive. You know, to get feedback from the fans, and hopefully they'll get feedback from a wider array of fans, and you know, we can have certain discussions at a bit more formal level on some of the things that affect the fans. So I think it's a positive way forward.
Because you've always had quite a big dialogue with fans, haven't you, ever since you came to the club?
Yeah, we have, and that will continue, perhaps a more informal level, but this formalises it a bit, and so I think it could be positive. I mean, it all depends on the people who get voted on, how enthusiastic they are, and how much they want to really be involved. But one would hope that they've put their names forward, that they will be, and if they really put their heart and soul into it, I think there'll be positives for them and the fan base as a whole. Now,
I think in a month's time, exactly, we'll be about half time at Old Trafford when it all kicks off. So it's going to be a special day. It could be a rather busy day, with it being Erik ten Hag's first game in charge of Manchester United on a competitive level. I guess, you know, what would you be your message to the fans as they sort of start out on? I mean, the away form was amazing last season, wasn't it? There were some amazing memories on their travels. I guess you're hoping for more of the same this season.
There's so many amazing memories. So it's a great first game for us. I mean, the eyes of the media will certainly be on that game, and Manchester United and Ten Hag in particular. But we will just go through our normal processes. We will go there with confidence. We certainly will do after the game at the end of the last season, where we had one of our finest ever victories, the 4-0 at home to Man United. And so I think we can all just go there with hope, and let's hope for a great performance, a great occasion, and then we'll see what happens. But look, Man United, the start of next season, are going to be probably quite different to the team that we saw down here a few weeks ago. But these are the games that are great for our fans, great for our players, great for the city. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
And is there one thing that you're looking forward to particularly about this coming season?
Well, I think with improving our squad, our team, over the last 3 years under Graham, and so I'm hoping the bar's very high, that we can continue that progress, get even better, win even more games, and yes, it will be great to get to another cup final, which we haven't been to for a while, but we know how tough it is, and they're one-off games, so I wouldn't want to be hanging our hat just on one thing. We just want to perform, entertain, do well, enjoy, and that's all I can hope for.
Match day, nothing actually beats being there. The shirts, the scarves, the game of two halves, the smells, the sounds. Why you let it bounce?
Yes! The top of the keeper, yes! And in!
Goals bottom corner, all in the top bins, unstoppable headers, the last minute limbs.
It's the late show again from the Seagulls.
VAR and rules that are weird.
A team like Brighton.
And Graham's beard. Pascal's turns, massive hair. Big Rob saves, Trossard's flair. McAllister's flicks, mobile ticks. Lamptey's tricks.
You just can't get hold of him, can you?
And bicycle kick.
Oh, they've done it!
One of our own, Tony Bloom's Skoda. That guy Welbs. And of course, Jakob Moda.
He's done it again! Neil Mopey!
Match days, you love to see it.